I'm Chris from All Things Good and Nerdy, a proud member of the GonnaGeek network, just like the show you're listening to right now. The opinions expressed are those of the individual hosts. Make sure you check out all the other great podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com and get ready because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
This is it. The part of your week where you get to put your headphones on, relax, and listen to a bunch of geeks geek out about geeky things. They're passionate.
Did you know Magic Mike XXL is actually on the top 25 list of this year's best movie?
They're witty.
He loves him some Katy Perry because she kissed a girl and she liked it.
They're crazy.
I like Nickelback personally, but, I'm the fuddy-duddy who likes episode 1.
And sometimes I leave you wondering, what the f***?
I'm pretty sure that here we were starting the hashtag movement, bring back Slave Feral.
Welcome to the GonnaGeek.com podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 133 of the official GonnaGeek.com podcast. I'm Stephen Jondrew, and with me today is Stargate Pioneer.
I am so glad I don't have the producer reins on this podcast.
We also have Chris Forall.
What's a producer?
And same thing as editing. Oh, wait, no, they're different things,
Yeah.
and you know
Well,
about neither. We also have, rounding us off, JS. What's up, JS?
Hashtag Stefan Lang for cable.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes.
Yeah, that. I'm glad you said that. So I thought it was Stephen Lang. Is it Stephen or Stefan?
Whatever, man. There's a PH. Does f to me.
That's how French Canadians say it, Steven. Come on.
Fair.
They say
Fair.
Exactly.
But I do think that would be very interesting. And if you don't know what that is, you should definitely get on the Google sphere, because we're not talking about Deadpool on here tonight because I have not watched it and I dictate all, right?
You'll never see it. It's rated R. It's going to be like years before you see this movie.
I don't like R-rated movies because, well, I'm a horrible individual and I think that all things R-rated are terrible.
Well, I was just meaning you wouldn't really have a chance to watch it with kids running around the house. You can't really turn on a rated R movie and be like, hey, kids, I'm watching superheroes.
You can't.
Well, you can if it's on FX, if it's ever going to be on FX.
then
Do you
it's not
guys have
rated
FX
R.
up there?
We do, and we have as usual, we have a terrible Canadian version of it.
It's FX, eh?
They have a lot of these channels, but then they've like Canadianized them. So they're like the Canadian version, but they're missing components. So yeah, terrible.
What's the Canadian version of the Hallmark Channel?
We don't have
a Hallmark channel.
That we don't have.
You're missing out.
I know.
No, you're not.
You totally are. Lots of great actors from all the shows that we like are on there. I'm telling you guys.
Yeah, it doesn't mean those programs are good.
They've filmed several of them in my fair city, and they all looked completely terrible when I drove by them. So yeah.
How many
Steven would
sets
know.
have you driven by in your life?
He's from Vancouver, so probably like every
He's
day.
not from Vancouver. He's on.
Whatever. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Listener, what you didn't know is Steven lives in the Luther Mansion. We just wanted to let you guys know that right now. You saw the Luther Mansion in Smallville. That's Steven's house.
It's true. It's mine. They actually bought it from me, and now I live in it for free because they just made me be Lex Luthor, like in real life.
That's right.
Yep.
I could see Steven as Lex Luthor. Hashtag Steven as Lex Luthor.
Why do you think I made GonnaGeek? It's not because I want you guys to have fun. There's a hidden agenda that you don't know about.
I'm sure.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move into our news. Shall we do that?
I guess we should.
All righty. Alrighty, so for the news this week, we're going to go ahead and toss it over to Chris Farrell for the very first agenda item. Chris, what do we got going on in the news this week?
Well, so there was a little indie flick that came out this weekend called Deadpool, which I want to talk about. But since Steven said I'm not allowed to talk about Deadpool, I'm going to have to wing it and ask for random news to talk about because we can't talk about Deadpool.
You can talk about
course
your
we
news.
can talk
You
about
can talk about your
Deadpool.
news. You just can't spoil it for me.
You can talk about Deadpool.
All right. So what I did want to talk about with Deadpool, which is not actually any spoilers, so Steven should be okay, is that Deadpool had a huge box office weekend. What do I mean by huge? Well, in North America, it brought in $132.7 million over the 3-day weekend. It's one of the best showings of all time for a superhero movie, and it shattered pretty much all the expectations, because I guess Deadpool was expected to bring in about, I don't know, 60 million they were thinking as a best guess. And it's not just North America. Oh, go ahead.
I'm just saying, you know what's nuts is they've made most superhero movies in the past they tried to make it as low rated as possible, thinking they would make more money, but that's just been proven wrong this weekend.
Well, it's also partially how they executed on this movie also is part of why it was so successful. But keeping going with the numbers real quick, overseas, Deadpool also did huge business. It did about 132.1 million in 61 markets overseas. It also had the biggest opening of all time in Russia with $12.4 million. Why I brought that up is it was a bigger opening for Deadpool in Russia than Star Wars 7. Deadpool was a bigger deal there, which I thought was pretty cool.
The Russians like the Russians like the Deadpool, hey?
They do, evidently. I had a couple more tidbits for you. Fox confirmed today the budget for this movie was $58 million, so they made back their budget in like a day and a half.
But here's the thing, though, that you didn't realize either. $58 million US, and they shot it in Vancouver, which means that they got like $300 billion worth of value.
They got about 75. Well, mind you, the exchange rate was not that like good when they filmed this movie, so it's fine.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know it was that little.
They've already made the money, which is awesome. There's two other records it did break this weekend I wanted to bring up real quick, just to give an idea of how unexpected the success of this movie was. It earned about $150 million over the 4-day period of President's Day weekend. It beat the previous record of $93 million earned over President's Day weekend over another movie you might have heard of that most of us probably haven't seen, though, called 50 Shades of Grey. Yes, lady porn.
So what you're saying is that basically this movie is huge.
Biggest R-rated opening of all time.
That's correct. That was the next record I was going to get to. Is in 2003. That was the previous record holder. Was The Matrix Reloaded in 2003 with the biggest rated R opening of all time. Deadpool came in and knocked down Keanu Reeves. So pretty big deal. Completely unexpected in this. And if you want to read a really interesting article, James Gunn put an article up on his Facebook page about how Hollywood is not going to learn their lesson about why this movie was successful. They'll just see the fact, oh, it's rated R. We can do rated R superheroes now. Not the reasons why this movie was so effective and brought in so much money.
So what do you think? Why do you think that it was so effective there, Chris Farrell?
In part because of the marketing behind it and the fact that it had been basically 10 years Ryan Reynolds had been trying to do this character. So if you think about it, they have had 10 years of pretty much grassroots marketing to talk about this character. And the marketing machine behind this was ridiculous. You saw commercials everywhere. Deadpool took over Comedy Central for a couple nights where you had no commercials during shows like At Midnight, brought to you by Deadpool, where all they would do is show trailers. It's the new way to do viral marketing and stuff. They were just all over the internet and all over the airwaves, and they suckered people. Well, not suckered. They sucked people in.
They also targeted a really good audience. So they targeted an audience that were not going to have anything to do on this weekend. So single people, obviously. They also targeted. I think the demographic was 47% of people under the age of 25 went to go see this movie.
Well, I think that the whole viral marketing thing, though, was a very large part of it, too. And if you look at it just from like the get-go with this movie, where the test footage was leaked. Anthony Bachman, your co-host on All Things Good Nerdy, just made a post about that. And it was I think a thing that Ryan Reynolds had posted, and it was saying how kind of talking about the evolution of the movie, and the key point in there being from the moment that the test footage was leaked, it ended up escalating to this big, huge production. That was totally I firmly believe that was a leak by the studio. That's what I think.
I don't know, man.
I think they banked on the leak.
Fox was pretty PO'd about it from what I understood, but then not so much when they got the positive reaction on it. I don't think Deadpool was ever expected to be what it is, and now it's going to have to change things up for them on their X-Men plans.
I think, well, maybe it wasn't Fox, but someone in the main production of that test footage, I think intentionally did, knowing
I completely agree with that.
Knowing that it was going to end up escalating. Like, I think that it was more intentional than people really do think.
No, I completely agree that it was an intentional. Somebody on the Deadpool team put that footage out there, probably because of frustration of, man, we're getting all this traction, we're going to get this movie happening, and then we just get shuttered up, and we've got this test footage that's awesome. And if the fans just see it, we'd get the movie. And it's exactly what happened. As soon as the fans saw this footage, everyone's like, do this Deadpool movie. This is awesome. I have to see it.
Yeah. I'm excited to see it. I know it'll be a while for me, but I'm still excited too. I think it will be a lot of fun, and it's getting great reviews from what I've seen so far.
Did you guys see the list of like 8 other comic book hero movies that
No.
So this is just I haven't fact checked this, but I think Batman was 48 million opening weekend. It looks like
Begins.
What's that?
It's Batman Begins that was.
Batman Begins, 48 million.
Yes.
It looks like Iron Man 2 at 98 million. The Man of Steel at 116 million. Thor,
Yep.
It looks like Thor 2, right? At 65 million.
That's probably Thor 1.
Yeah, the closest thing was the Superman movie. At 116.
Spider-Man, one of the Spider-Man movies. I don't know which one. At 114 million.
Wow.
Wolverine movie at 85 million, Hulk at 55, and Captain America 65. They'll beat all of those.
That's crazy. I didn't know it was that much ahead.
As I said, people are going to go see an R-rated movie because there's going to be no holds bar. It's going to be all out.
There's also the fact that there was pretty much no competition this weekend. I don't think really anyone expected much out of Zoolander 2. Let's be honest. Most people are going to see Zoolander 2 or probably wanted to see Deadpool instead.
I don't know. I thought that there wasn't there one with like Rebel Wilson or something that just came out?
Oh, yeah. I saw a trailer for that. Yeah.
Kung Fu Panda 3.
There you go. Well, I think that it's very interesting to see how big it was. I knew it was going to be big, but I actually didn't think it would be this big. I'll be totally honest. Yeah,
nobody did, honestly. It completely defies expectations, and I'm curious to see how Hollywood screws this up now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. I maybe we should just all be optimistic. Should we do that?
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to pay off.
Especially with what they've announced they want to do. It would be really good.
All right, well, let's move on to the next news point here. And that is my news point, which is to do with Google. If you're not familiar with Google, well, then just disconnect now because I don't know how you got here.
Okay, bye.
However, Google has made an announcement that, as you may or may not be aware, there has been some legal rulings regarding certain content and being scrubbed via Google over across the pond. That's right, in Europe and other places. And the way that Google's handled this currently, you know how Google has all of their different domains. So they've got like google.ca for Canada, and I believe they have google.fr for France and things like that. Well, what they've done is they've made it so that they meet the legal criteria under the appropriate domains. So like if Canada had a rule that said you cannot show Stargate Pioneer at all on any results, which I think is very close to being approved. I believe that we're like one vote away from that being a legal rule in Canada.
It is a fight that I have been losing all the time, so expect me to completely disappear at some point.
Oh, we do.
Please. I mean, what?
But what would happen is you would go to google.ca, and if you search for Stargate Pioneer, then you wouldn't see it. But if you went to google.com, you would see it. However, apparently that wasn't good enough for the authorities. And so what they're going to be doing is making it so it checks where your IP address is coming from. And then across the board, you'll end up getting these filtered results. Now, it's Google, so I'm assuming they can do it right, but I find it interesting because potentially, depending on how I was having my computer routing, it might end up filtering out information that shouldn't actually be filtered out for me. I don't know. I just think that it's interesting that they've decided to scrub in a different manner that's a little more broad. JS, what do you think about this, Mr. Google authority? I don't know. You used to do a lot of Google stuff.
Well, it goes deeper than that. I don't think, most of us browse on a Chrome browser. So your search results are already skewed towards your preferences. It's not going to make much of a difference, man.
What do you mean by that? You mean just by the region you're in?
You never noticed? Do a Google search about something logged in and a Google search about with you not logged in. You'll get two different search results.
Yeah, I have noticed that. That's a fair point, and maybe that is the bigger picture.
It's quite intensive, actually, and it's a shame that, like, for me, who does a bit of SEO work, I got to go on a completely clean machine to really do my work. There's other ways. I mean, you can scrub and stuff like that, but it's like you're going to see a lot of GonnaGeek stuff. For example, if you search the word geek, you'll probably get like GonnaGeek within the first at least 2 pages for sure.
Right, because it's to me.
Because it's you, but it's not going to be the real search result from somebody else.
Well, if you do it in incognito mode, you kind of get closer to aka porn mode for everyone that wasn't aware. Control Shift in on your browser.
That's true. It's true. He's 100% right.
Gotta love me some porn mode. But I don't know, Chris, what do you think about this? You, I know, are a man of international mystery. You have lived in various locations. What do you think about this?
It's just Google trying to make sure people go to people's local version of Google. I mean, if you want to go to google.com, I'm sure there's still ways to get around it. Whatever. I don't see it as a huge deal.
Well, I don't know. For me, I just think, though, it's intriguing that they've decided to do it across all of the domains, but I guess there's bigger news, which takes us to SP. SP, what do you have for your news this week? It's bigger. It's badder. It's more out there.
Whoa, it's heavy. So, if you have been living underneath a rock, so last Thursday, this consortium actually was able to measure gravitational waves, validating Einstein. And it was huge. It lasted throughout the weekend. And so if you haven't heard about it before, what happened was two black holes that were orbiting each other combined into one black hole. And when they did, they sent out these huge gravitational waves. And we were able to measure those gravitational waves as they were passing through the Earth with some lasers and some stuff. I could get technical if you want, but basically Einstein was right and we measured it. So I pulled up an article with the 9 best internet reactions to the gravitational wave discovery. So number 9 was a bunch of physicists really doing the gravitational wave chirp. And if you haven't heard it before, I guess, do you guys want to do it here, or you want to pass and you want to let people find it on their own?
I'm not much for doctors, so I don't really care. You said physicians, right?
Physicists.
Oh, sorry. My apologies.
This is the bad humor we're going to have all night.
Apparently. And number 8 was basically from the Albert Einstein verified Twitter account. He did a mic drop. So there you go.
What?
He's done.
How is it verified? How the hell is a dead man's Twitter verified? That is absolutely a bunch of crap. It should be the estate of Albert Einstein.
This is Steven being butthurt because he's still not verified.
Not verified.
I will never be verified. Look at all of the amazing podcasters and other social media type related people not verified. I am okay with that. In fact, I feel amazing that we have the one and only verified Cody Goff on our very podcast network.
I love how you say his last name.
Yeah, by the way, I think I discovered a way for Twitter to make money. They should charge to verify. Straight up. Make money. There's your business plan, Twitter. $150 a pop.
I think they've addressed that and said they won't do that ever, but yeah, maybe they'll change their minds once they start losing money. We'll see.
I might pay it. I might pay it.
I know you will. Just so you can keep up with Cody. Okay. Game Life Balance US. Go listen to the podcast. It's on GonnaGeek.com. So number 7 was when Sarcastic Rover said what we were all thinking. And Sarcastic Rover is a great Twitter account. And it said, really excited about gravitational waves because now there's one more thing I don't understand about the universe.
I like it.
President Obama said, Einstein was right. Congrats on detecting gravitational waves. A huge breakthrough in how we understand the universe. And then huge. All the proud scientists giving us all the feels. So many tweets on that. There was a tapestry made with the gravitational wave signature. The bloop. Okay, I did it. Bloop. There you go. And so there was a news embargo. Okay, this is kind of important. So these people that broke the news that they found the gravitational waves, they told everybody in confidentiality and said, we're going to break the news at 10:30, but here's what it is. And we're talking something that's technical gravitational waves. They wanted to pre-brief the press. So they did that. So at 6:07, so I think that was Pacific time. So I think it was 10:06 p.m. Ed Young tweeted a picture of the cake, and on the cake was a writing that said, here's to the first to detection of gravitational waves. So everybody knew in advance. And then apparently CNN, or not CNN, but BBC News, their anchors, they had nothing to say. And they just were standing there like this.
Probably because they didn't understand it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And last but definitely not least, the time that a gravitational wave got its own Twitter account. So it's gravitational wave 150914, and it's tweeting basically the wave has passed Earth, will never come by Earth again. And it was definitely tweeting a lot. So hashtag LIGO, hashtag gravitational waves. If you want to find out more about gravitational waves, go ahead and just read up. There's tons of information on it. Depending on how technical you want to get, you can get a lot of information. I've been reading up on it this weekend, and I really just don't want to bore you guys if you don't want to hear about it. But
I have a question for you because Suncast has asked the question that came to my mind, and I thought that I would actually wait to this podcast to ask you, which was, why is this big?
Well, it validates Einstein's theory of relativity. So you have gravity, which is now part of the equation, which explains a lot of the universe. And then we can use that equation to our advantage as we develop technical aspects to be able to use the universe and the physics that are in the universe to do things like faster than light travel and stuff like that. So we'll see how it develops, but right now at least we proved they exist, which it took until now to do. So I think it's pretty cool that we were able to do it.
Neat
98 years in the making.
And you too, one day when you're dead, you might get yourself a Twitter verified account too. That's what it also proves. Oh wait,
Steven, you're gonna have to die to get a verified Twitter account, even if you pay.
Well, I was going to say, don't worry. That's how the Twitter verify account the actual Twitter account will become verified, because it will be about 50 years past the time that Twitter dies. That's right. I went there.
You sound really bitter tonight.
I am bitter. I'm bitter for good reason, but we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about damn Albert Einstein's stupid damn Twitter. No, wait, we're not talking about that. What are we talking about, SP? No, just kidding.
2 more quick hits in case gravitational waves is too heavy for you. NASA came out with some crazy charts looking at the Space Launch System. Yes, this is the system that's going to launch the Orion capsule, so you're going to be able to go to the moon, the Mars, and everything like that. There's 2 versions. There's one just for a manned capsule, and there's other for cargo. So go ahead and take a look at all that great stuff. And then the other thing that came out is NASA released some really neat, basically space travel posters. And if you haven't seen it yet, go to the show notes. You'll find all the great posters, and I'll throw them in the chat for the live listeners. But it's really cool. It's just a new age look at travel, vacation travel throughout the solar system and beyond. So have fun looking at those. And remember, Einstein was right.
Einstein's never been right about anything.
You are bitter today.
I am. Well, thank you very much for that, SB. We do appreciate you keeping us informed of the developments in warp travel. And I can only assume that that's what it means, is that we will be warping tomorrow. That's the only logical conclusion.
First contact could be tomorrow.
Of course.
Oh, that would be awesome.
We have to have a nuclear war before first contact.
You know that when the aliens actually come down tomorrow, that means that you've confirmed that you work for NASA. You know that, right, SP?
The aliens won't come until July 4th.
Okay.
They're not going to really come. It's called Project Bluebeam. It's a conspiracy from the government to make us think we're being invaded by aliens.
That's true. That's true.
Thanks, Agent Mulder.
You're welcome.
Can I be your Agent Scully?
No, definitely not.
Do I need to send you tinfoil so you can make a hat?
Don't need a hat when it's true.
All right, well, let's just go ahead and move on into our segment. Shall we do that?
Yes.
Let's do it.
All
Let's do
righty.
it.
Alrighty, so in this week's Steven's Geeky Stuff, I am here with another wonderful app. You might have noticed me from time to time if you watch the video show, see that I flash around in the recent weeks a tablet. Or maybe you see me reach in front of me to switch the screens. You might see that, right? Well, how do I do that? I've talked before about the crazy program that I use, which is... yeah, I guess crazy is an accurate word for it, called Xsplit. Well, I got tired of having to bounce between different screens, so have the window in front of me where I'm able to actually see the screens and control the screens, and then also my show notes. I got tired of that. So that's right. Out of my like a million screens that I have, I decided to place them both on the same one individual monitor. But what I decided to do was look into an app that could control my computer, because within XSplit you can set hotkey combinations so that if I end up hitting a couple specific keys, it would end up switching to SP or to Chris or to JS or whatever. So what I wanted to do was set it in some weird hotkey combination, which would not end up accidentally affecting the video or Skype or something like that. Because if I went and I set it to Alt F4, then that would be a problem now, wouldn't it? So
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So I wanted to make sure it was some bizarre combination that would never, ever, ever affect anything else. So what I've done is I've gone and I've set all my different screens to like Control Alt Shift something. I don't remember what it was. Some insane combination. And I found me an app for my Nexus 7, my first generation Nexus 7, called Unified Remote. It is put out by a company called Unified Intense, and essentially what it allows you to do is remote control your computer on the same Wi-Fi network. So then what I was able to do was go onto my Nexus 7 and add little tiles to the screen that essentially inputs those hotkeys. So then when I do end up switching over, I push it on there, on the Nexus 7, it switches the screen. So it works really, really well and very, very responsive. Now, there was actually a couple different ones that I decided to look into, and this was the cleanest, and it was only like $4. It actually works really well, and it does more than just that. You can use it as a mouse. You can use it to have as a keyboard. There's a variety of different things you can do with the app. I probably use it the least that one would suspect you would use this app for. So it works really well, and most importantly, it is very, very responsive. And I've been very, very impressed because this Nexus 7, first generation Nexus 7, basically is garbage. I can do nothing on it anymore. It freezes all the time. Try to put Facebook app on there, it freezes. Try to put Hangouts on there, it freezes. It is horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible now. Basically unusable, but it runs this app very, very well, even on the mouse mode that I tried. So essentially what happens is you end up downloading a piece of software for your desktop client that runs, and you can set it to go as a one-time thing, or when you start up, it runs as a background service sort of thing. But it works really well, and I don't know, maybe you have a use for that. Maybe it's something that you want to be able to use your tablet as mouse. I've heard of people who've wanted to do stuff like that. Look into it. It's pretty affordable, and it's called Unified Remote. There is a light version that is free, but the full version is only like $4. So very impressed with it, and I can't wait to dig into it a little bit more.
Sounds great. Unfortunately, right now, I only have iOS devices, so I wouldn't be able to use it.
Yeah, I don't know if there's an Apple version. I don't believe there would be, but I don't know. Chris, have you ever heard of anything like this?
Not that I've heard of, but to be fair, I have not really searched for anything like this on my iPad. So it could be. I'd have to go take a look.
Well, if you are interested in it and you have an Android device kicking around that is useless because it is slower than molasses, this might be something that you can use. So check it out. And for me, it's invaluable because I can just hold the tablet while we podcast and do whatever I want to do and switch, and simple as that.
Guess what?
What?
It is on iOS devices.
Is
you have
it?
to have iOS 7 or newer. Yeah.
Maybe Chris or you will have to look into it and report back.
Yeah, but I don't have Xsplit, and I don't want to have to learn Xsplit.
No, you do it for whatever. You don't have to do it for XSplit. You can do it for anything.
You need to get the console that has the levers and stuff, and like you got to start levering and going like transitions.
Except what I need to do is put it behind me. So like as we're gonna switch, I have to actually on screen turn around and switch some dials. That would be amazing, don't you think?
It would.
Like Star Trek in the 60s or Doctor Who in the early days.
Yeah, I want the sound effects with it, though. That's what's the important thing.
All right, now there's actually a second half of Steven's geeky stuff tonight because I'm bitter and I've had a week that deserves a little bit of ranting for a couple of reasons. I'm gonna rant. I'm gonna rant here. iPhone, Apple, why can you not build yourself a damn decent Wi-Fi card? I spent like a day and a half this week resorting my network, resorting a bunch of different things because I thought my network went bad. But no, don't worry. It was just my wife's Wi-Fi card only working on channel 11 and nothing else. That's right. It died. You may recall that my phone, the reason I left the iOS structure was because my iPhone 4S Wi-Fi card died. And guess what? I decided to call the local non-Apple repair company around here and ask a little bit about it. Of course, thinking that I'm going to get the right information from them because they do want to fix things. And they would not be like, hey, why would you bother not fixing this? Well, when they called, they said to me, yeah, it's probably not going to work. I can try, but we've seen a ton of those things not working lately. Same sort of thing as the iPhone 4S. That was their words. They related it to the iPhone 4S. So apparently it must be something that in recent months has becoming more of a problem with the iPhone 6s. So that's interesting that, again, Apple, you cannot build yourself a decent Wi-Fi card.
I did look up the price. A replacement card is $19 US. Not that
I
bad.
can probably find it cheaper.
Now here's the thing.
That's $120 Canadian.
I asked them, I asked them about it, and they say that what their experience is it's actually not necessarily the card so much as something more to do with the actual motherboard, and how the motherboard plays with the card. So I don't know. For me, I'm probably going to give it a shot to replace the Wi-Fi card just because for $20,
iPhone 4S Wi-Fi.
even if it was $50.
No, 6.
Yeah,
Oh,
six.
it's a 6.
But even if it was like $20 to $50, it's worth a shot. But I'm not optimistic. However, in any case, it just irritated the hell out of me because, yeah, another phone with bad Wi-Fi.
That's a simple thing. It's called an Apple phone.
Sounds like it's time to upgrade to me.
Yeah, maybe get her off of iOS finally.
Oh, that'll never happen. We already did
Good
that.
luck. Good luck on that.
2 Flex.
Alrighty, well, that is going to take us towards the end of episode 133. Don't worry, I'm not actually this grumpy. I just play somebody on a podcast. I don't know. I got nothing.
In the chat, they say you need a nap, Steven.
I do need a nap. You're right. I do need a nap. So that is taking us to the end of episode 133.
Wait. So the backdrop is representative of your mood is what's going on here?
Apparently.
Steven angry, red.
Audio listener, I just changed my backdrop to red. But in a serious
Oh,
note,
that's cool. That's cool.
I do want to go ahead and promote everybody on the GonnaGeek network. I know I talk about it a lot, but we're really, really back into the full swing of things, and there is some really amazing content hitting the site lately. A lot of really good opinions, a lot of people taking advantage of Geeks.live, and some really neat listener interactions. So I encourage you to go to GonnaGeek.com because we have a ton of TV show related podcasts and other geek stuff. And I'm sure you're going to find something there that if you are enjoying interacting with us, even if it's just interacting with us in your mind, you are going to find something that you can pop into and geek out with the rest of some geeky people at Geeks.live. So thank you, everybody, for doing everything on the GonnaGeek network. Chris, you got anything you want to plug?
I got nothing.
SP, you got anything?
Over the next month, we have several people going to conventions as part of the network, and you can meet up with them or hear them at these different conventions. So the first will be Peter Melnick from Audibly
boys.
Exquisite, and you can find him at Big AppleCon on the 5th of March. And then you can find Chris and myself at C2E2 in Chicago on March 18th. We'll be doing a panel with Naki, Cody, and Willie, and Everyday Podcasting on the 18th, on the afternoon of the 18th, time TBD. And then Kier, who just got back from Gallifrey 1, will be going to Regeneration Who on the 18th, 19th, and 20th, and that will be on the East Coast, I believe. And I'll just go one more. Lauren from Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Longbox Edition will be on the 1st of April through the 3rd of April at EggieCon. So we will continually update you on where people are going to be throughout the year, but that is the next month in cons for you.
Serenity now. JS, you got anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I'm really trying to secure some time to go down to Gen Con, so I'm gonna try to figure that out. I'll announce it on my The Real JSH. What was my Twitter account? The Real _JSH.
The Real
That's your
_
Twitter.
JSH, yeah.
Yeah, that's
You'll
my
be
Twitter.
able to meet up with Cody and John there from Game Life Balance.
Yeah, I'm
US.
gonna see if I US because the Russian version is. I'm gonna see. Yeah, if I go. I don't know. I want to go to the Gamma trade show, but nobody cares about that.
Awesome. Well, we have hit that part of the GonnaGeek.com podcast. The part where everybody tells me I need to take a chill pill and simmer down. So for episode 133 of the official GonnaGeek.com podcast, I'm going to go take a bath.
I'm Chris Farrell.
Heavy.
Deadpool dies at the end of the movie.
Oh, by the way, that happened in The Walking Dead this week. Deadpool made an
Deadpool
appearance.
died?
Yes.
Yes.
From everyone here at the GonnaGeek.com podcast, thanks for listening. If you like what you heard, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes. We encourage you to send your feedback by email to podcast@GonnaGeek.com. You can find all of our show history at GonnaGeek.com/official podcast. And while you're there, why not head over and check out all of the geeky podcasts on the GonnaGeek Network? The music heard on this show is by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. Thanks for listening, and we will see you again next week.